Welcome, bienvenidos. And yes, I am saying the S really loud because I just discovered that because I don't look back at my videos, apparently, like every other Puerto Rican I know, I tend to gobble up the S at the end of a word. So when you hear me saying the word, you don't hear the S. So today, you're probably going to hear the S a lot more than usual every time I remember. Again, welcome, bienvenidos. My name is Roxana. This is Metamorphosis Rocks, and today I've decided that I am going to start talking about people that are not as commonly known. The reason why I'm going to start with these two is because there are interesting stories on how I found them both, and I hope you like them. And they don't need me at all. I just think that as the older voice of reason. Well, not voice of reason. I don't want to take that away from Planet Eats. As the older person, I'm actually funny. Planet Eats is the same age as I am. He's 51. But I'm thinking about Peter Munn, who's 6 years younger than me, and people think he's the grandpa of YouTube. So I guess if he's the grandpa, I'm the grandma. But don't you dare tell me that I'm the grandma because I'm not going to like it. I'm not a grandma yet. When I'm a grandma, then I'll like it. So anyway, I'm going to talk about two beauty influencers, I guess we can call them. Influencers. And they're not as common as others that we are very familiar with. I also decided that I'm going to talk as long as I want to talk, and I'm not going to try to curtail myself, because when I see myself going on a tangent, I try to stop myself, and sometimes, 99% of the time, the tangents that I go into relate to the topic of the title of the video. And yesterday, I added 3 people to the title. And in the process of making the video, I kept cutting myself short when I went off on tangents. And because of that, I didn't give you the point of the video, which was the most important part of that video to me. And that is the reason why I added the names of Peter Munn, Petty Page, and Margot Indigo to the title. Now, I'm not going to get back into it. If you want to know what happened, you have to check the video yesterday. But the bottom line is that the 3 people are mentioned, plus Philip DeFranco and other I don't know if you want to call them news channels, gossip channels, drama channels. It doesn't matter what you call them. They do have a function other than sounding like TMZ. And that is the fact that they warn you about things that are going on the internet. If you have children or grandchildren and you're allowing them to watch YouTube and you're not familiar with the people they are following, it might be a good idea, and you just can't stomach the videos, because I will be honest with you, there are certain people that this drama channels talk about that I can't stomach their videos, so I just hear what these people have to say about them. It's not so much that I want to hear the gossip. I want to know who I could relate to or who I could not. And sometimes it's easier to get what I call the Cliff Notes version, which is what Peter Munn does most of the time. He gives you an overview. Petty Page is also really good at this. The first minute of their video, she's always just giving you the concise version of what the channel is about. And if I find whatever they're talking about interesting, I'll stop by the channel. I will play one video, and sometimes I go down the rabbit hole, like with this particular person, and sometimes I don't. Now, I'm going to mention 2 channels, but I'm actually speaking about 3 people. So let's get into it. Now, the first person I'm going to mention is Jonh Maclean. Now, I don't know if I'm saying the name right. He's from the UK. Oh God, John, I hope I'm saying your name right. But anyway, I am going to post the link to their channel below, so you don't have to worry about how to spell it. And because I don't know how to do the little trick on the screen so you can see the name. I'll learn that later. Anyway, you have to remember, I was learning on the other computer. The other computer died. Now I'm learning on the Apple computer, and it's not the same game at all. And I haven't used an Apple computer since 1998, and they've changed a lot. So, sorry, but I have to learn everything all over again. Anyway, Jonh Maclean is considered a beauty influencer, and the reason why I'm looking at the screen is because I'm trying to find out how many subscribers he has. Oh, he went up. He has 127,000 subscribers. And now I blocked myself out of my own screen. Anyway, He has 127,000 subscribers. This person happens to look beautiful as a girl or as a boy, very androgynous, and I'm saying him. I'm assuming he's okay with me calling him him, and if he doesn't, he can leave me a message on Twitter or wherever and let me know if I'm saying it wrong. I'm so sorry if I am. But here's the thing. The reason why I'm mentioning Jonh, when I started watching Jonh, he had 60,000 subscribers. Jonh has had the channel for a while, but he didn't start posting every week until recently. And talent and beauty knows talent and beauty, and all of us who love to see somebody that's out of the whole drama thing, we flock to him. The boy has a knowledge of art that is ridiculous. I mean, I would love, and I'm saying it right here on camera, if you decide to come to Florida, when you come to the States and you come to Orlando, I'm buying you lunch, and the only reason why I'm not buying you dinner is because I ain't got no money. But I'll buy you lunch, and because I would love to pick your brain. Granted, I might be shell-shocked, and my daughter might be the one talking. Then again, she loves you too, so she might... Oh, I didn't think this through. One of us will actually speak, or maybe I'll just send you all the questions, and then you can answer in front of me. Anyway, the bottom line is, to listen to this person, first of all, he has a sense of humor that reminds me of one of my older brothers, Eddie. It's a very subtle, and it's hysterical, and he says it with a straight face. So it might not hit you right at the first time he says it. You might actually have to watch, but it's just, I love it. I love that kind of sense of humor. Every time he starts talking about how he sleeps in a sarcophagus, I'm on the floor laughing. Number two, you can tell when somebody cares about the craft. He's not just about makeup. He also does accessories for home and other things. I call him, out of the people that I follow on social media, I call him my Renaissance man, because this person is very knowledgeable. And when you hear him talk, I mean, I could listen to Jonh read me the damn phone book, because he finds a way of making things interesting. I think in another life, he might have been a art history college professor, because he knows what he's talking about. He makes very good points. He's obviously not afraid of telling you his opinions whenever he feels it's okay to give them to you. In fact, one of the most interesting things to me is his opinion on relationships, which I'm not going to get into. You have to watch this channel to find out. I don't necessarily agree with him, but I just find it fascinating the way he explains why he thinks the way he thinks. I guess that's the only way I can say it. And the videos he makes are ridiculously good quality. I mean, I will never, not even when somebody else does this for me and makes me just stand there and talk. I mean, the quality is ridiculous. And that's the kind of person that you go, you know, I'm pretty sure Jonh is as beautiful on the inside as he's on the outside because of what you see. And it gives me the impression that what you see is what you get. So, absolutely love Jonh Maclean. You have to go check him out. Plus, it's very soothing. Watching his channel is very soothing to me. Anyway, the second channel that I want to talk... Oh, wait. The reason why I made this video is to tell you how I got into this. Now, in the case of Jonh Maclean, I saw Jonh Maclean for the first time because Peter Mann mentioned him on his channel. Peter Mann does this thing every once in a while where he'll go into talking about lesser-known YouTubers, because Peter is getting to the point where he's going up in the fan base. The last time I checked, he had 73,000 subscribers, but because he's considered a drama channel, he might get more views than people subscribed, if you know what I mean. Plus he has 4 channels, so if you take them all and then you try to take a certain percentage for repeat offenders like me, I'm subscribed to 3 of his 4 channels. So, and the only reason I'm not subscribed to the last channel is because I can't find it, but I keep landing on the same 3 that I know. So Peter, if you want to send me the link to the Peterism, just send it to me on a DM. Thank you. Anyway, the thing about it is Peter has this thing where every once in a while he'll talk about people. And he doesn't care if they have more fans or less fans than he does. What he cares about is people that, because we're so focused on the drama of 3 or 4, we don't know about these other people. And he mentioned Jonh Maclean because a lot of people had talked to him about Jonh. And Peter fell in love with Jonh. I fell in love with Jonh. My daughter fell in love with Jonh. So obviously, out of one comment from Peter, he ended up with 2 fans. And that's just us. That's not counting the many people that I've seen on the video saying I came here because of Peter Mon. So I think I like that idea of, paying it forward. Whether you have more subscribers or less subscribers, I think we should all be talking about people that we find interesting. So that's how I found out about Jonh. Now, we have the other video that I want to talk, the other channel that I want to talk about, and again, it's going to be in the page below, is Paul and Jen, and they are known on YouTube as Mr. and Mrs Mue. They have 1,303 subscribers. They are a couple, have a 3-year-old baby, gorgeous baby, and I know that because I actually follow them on Instagram as well. I found them this week, which is why I'm bringing this up. I'm making this video today because I'm doing 2 things at the same time. What I learned this week, and I'm also sharing information about people. Now, Jonh, I've been following for a while, but Paul and Jen, I started following, I think it was Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm going to tell you how I found them. I have a girlfriend on Facebook that sends me links to whoever's on Facebook Live that she finds interesting. Usually makeup gurus. And Paul and Jen were doing this thing where they wanted to get their Instagram, one of their Instagram accounts, they have 2, to 10,000 subscribers. And I have to be honest with you, I got so into the gig that I stayed with them until they had more than 10,000 subscribers, because Paul was so emotional about it, and he happened to be on camera putting on his makeup when this happened, that I couldn't have. They sounded like such a cute couple, and they were so hysterical, and Paul is hilarious, and makeup skills on these 2 are disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. And I just found them adorable. The entire family, I found them adorable. So I followed them on Instagram and I followed them here on YouTube. Now, like I said, I'm trying to get into people that are into not getting into the drama as much. Because here's what happens, and this is a downward spiral that I'm sure some of us go into. I watch drama channels like everybody else. And I'm going to tell you something about my theory of drama in a minute. But I watch a couple of drama channels. I don't watch a lot of drama channels because I don't like to get into the offensive, the negative, the super negative. I mean, it's one thing to crack a joke about the ugly makeup you wore one day. It's a completely different thing to get into the personal life of the people that you're talking about. I don't like that kind of drama. And that's why I like Peter and Margot and Petty, because they don't get into the personal crap. They just talk about whatever's happening in the environment. Now, I would rather listen to people that do funny stuff, which is why I look at Patty and Martin Lewis and people like that, because they go into the funnier version of the story. And in the case of Peter, because he gives a lot of advice, and like I said yesterday, I do take a lot of what he says, makes a lot of sense for people that don't even have big channels yet. So I would tell you to check him out because of that. But the reason, here's the thing, and I'm gonna and I'm probably going into 3 tangents. I'm sorry, I apologize. That's the way my brain works. Sorry. Here's the thing. Like I mentioned before, Jonh Maclean loves to talk about our history, and he has a very steep knowledge on it. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately because at the end of the day, history is gossip. And I'm going to tell you why. Back in the day, people didn't know how to write. And those that knew how to write did not share that knowledge because that was where the power was. It was not so much money, it was the people who wrote and had a certain level of education were in the upper crust, and they might be broke, but because their family was rich, they had all this wealth. And I'm going to leave the word wealth open to interpretation. Now, that means that, for example, I don't know how old you are, but when I was growing up, there were, and I don't know how to say this word in English, so I'm going to butcher it, but hieroglyphics, the little tablets from the Egyptians and whatnot. And I remember every time somebody decoded one of these suckers, it was like a big news story, and we didn't have internet back in those days, so the only thing we had was local news and eventually cable. And yes, when I lived in Puerto Rico, I lived without cable for, I want to say 10 years, 12 years. And then I had cable and I never looked at local news again. But, and that holds true. It has nothing to do with Puerto Rico. That holds true today. I don't watch local news. In fact, I don't watch TV. I watch whatever I want to watch here, and I try very hard to stay away from TV just because it's so damn negative. But anyway, hieroglyphics were not exactly something that everybody understood, which means that from one generation to the next, the power and the ability to be able to read that stuff was completely consolidated in a few, and if they died or they were killed, we have no knowledge of what the hell they wrote. So in my opinion, I have always believed two things about history. Number one, history is for the victor, which means whoever wins the fight is going to give you their version of the story for posterity. And number two, history is a lot of gossip. Now, it's harder now because, of course, we have a ridiculous amount of people that know how to read and write. We have social media. We have regular media. We have sources of information from everywhere. But as we have been able to see in the last 10 months, 11 months, people can either try or actually accomplish manipulating stories to make their point of view seem like the correct version of the events. When people deny something that they admitted to in the past, and they now tell you that they never said that, that should give you a moment to think how real reality is. Now, we could go into a philosophical discussion over whether reality is real at all, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is that I believe gossip has always been the way to get history. And so, unlike most people that look down on gossip, I don't. That doesn't mean that I appreciate all of it. I don't. I take what I find interesting and I leave the rest. Now, I find some people delivering these stories incredibly entertaining. I find other people horribly boorish. And one of the things that I've noticed when you go to channels on YouTube, this is really easy to see, is that your base is, for lack of a better word, based on your outlook. And what do I mean by that? You take somebody like Martin Lewis, well, not Martin, because Martin is funny, but let's take Peter. You take somebody like Peter Munn, he does talk about all these beauty influencers and everybody else. He also does this thing where he actually tells them what he thinks their mistake was and how to fix it. And so if you look at the base of the wolf pack, or the lard pack, as we are now known, thanks to one Jonh Maclean, the base of the following for Peter Munn's channels are people that are really interested in your bettering yourself. Now, I wish that Peter would do more videos on people like booktube people and that sort of thing, just because there's more to see than gossip and, drama channel, beauty channels, beauty influencers, and the Shannon Roses and the Tana Mojos of the world. There's a lot of other people on YouTube, and since he has decided that he wants to promote people that are not as big, I'm hoping that he'll go into booktube as well, and whatever other influencers he finds around. Which means that the next time you see me talking about it, YouTubers, it's not going to be beauty influencers, because these are my last two. Unless I find somebody that has such a completely different view on the topic that I decide to add it. I think we know enough beauty influencers. And like everything else in the world, YouTube used to be a gamer paradise. Gamers paradise. Now it's a beauty influencers paradise, and it will keep moving as tastes change and people change and whatnot. As far as there are other people, and I'm not going to name any names because I don't want the negativity to spread, but there are other people that have decided to use the platform to spread very negative, very poisonous information about other people. And you can see, and that has turned into a business strategy for their channel. They didn't have, and we all know this because it works every single time. Every time I put somebody's name on the title, that is like a big name, people watch the video. It happens to all of us, okay? Has nothing to do with what you're saying. It has more to do with the appeal of that person. But people can grow so much on that. There comes a point where if you don't have any substance to your channel, people are not going to watch you anymore because you're boring. I am referring to I'm thinking about a very specific channel that got very big and very famous by bashing other people because they were so bent into their worldview that they wanted everybody else to subscribe to that worldview. And in the process, instead of just doing a positive video on why you should listen to their point of view, what they would do is bash these people, body shame them for their attitudes towards life, make fun of their family history, all this other stuff. And here's the thing, and the reason why I'm bringing this topic forward. The base of that channel was based on negativity and poison, which means that when they got tired of the negativity and poison that the person was spreading, they turn them on that person. And that person's channel right now doesn't have half of the subscribers it used to have, and it used to be a really big channel. And I've seen that happen time and time again. I'm just thinking about this particular person because the fall was very swift. And I remember when that person was like beginning to grow, I was following them. I thought their original message was really nice. As I saw the change, I even sent them a message and I said, you know, this will work for you as a short-term strategy, but there's going to come a point where you need to stop doing this and concentrate on your original topic, or mix and match. One day you talk about a person, or half the video you talk about the person and half the video you talk about the principles that you're trying to teach other people. If you don't do that, your channel is going to die. And sure enough, the channel died. The person has come back with a different, I even think they changed their channel. We all know who the person is, and we don't follow that person because we've seen what they do and it's not right. So the message that I want to leave you with today is this. I am going to keep talking about the things that I find interesting in and out of YouTube. Some of them are going to get 130 views. Some of them are going to get 2 views. I don't care because that's not the purpose of this channel. The purpose of this channel is for me to tell you what I think it's interesting from my perspective. Now, you might agree with me, you might disagree with me. I would love for you to tell me in the comments if you agree or disagree, or if you know somebody that I should talk about. I'm not a drama channel. I'm sharing information. I am not interested in the personal lives of the people I talk about. I'm not even interested in if they're fighting or if they're friends with somebody else. Keep me out of all that crap. I'm not interested in drama. What I'm interested in is videos where I can learn things that I've never looked at. Molly Roberts comes to mind. She is a witch. But the way she talks and the way she does her videos, I love watching those videos. And unfortunately, I haven't seen her do anything new recently. And I miss her a lot because, first of all, she has a very soothing voice. But second of all, she explains something that I've never considered because I was born and raised as Catholic. And even though I'm not a practicing Catholic, and I find other things very interesting, being a witch is not one of them. And I find her perspective very interesting. I'm not going to agree with every single person I watch. That's like, I don't remember who was either a serial killer or somebody that went on a killing spree recently. And the point that the media was trying to make is that this person liked an atheist channel, so they must be an atheist. No. Normal human beings have interest in other people. Period. It doesn't matter if you're an atheist, if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, if you're Jewish. I'm interested in your perspective. And if you have something to teach and you're interesting, and I'm trying to look down the list because there's this one guy, he's a rabbi, and he talks about the horoscope. And the way he explains the stuff, it's like, wow, I've never seen anybody study this the way he does. And it's very interesting. But again, it's a completely different perspective from what I normally do. I normally read about art, business. I'm looking at the books so I can see if there's anything else that's more interesting to me than art or business. But if I look at my bookshelf that's sitting right in front of me, the answer is no. Apparently, I don't like anything else. But I like to read. I love reading novels and things like that. And what I'm sharing is what I know, and I am sharing other channels that people may or may not know about because I want everybody to grow. This isn't about money for me. Am I broke right now? Yeah. Could I use some money? Yeah. I could use work too, and that will hopefully happen soon. But the thing about it is that my purpose for having a YouTube channel is to communicate with other people that are either my age or have similar interests. And there's a lot of really cool stuff happening on YouTube, but we always focus on the same 5 or 6 people. Let's expand our knowledge. Let's take 2018 as the year where we expand our knowledge base. If you agree with me, come on this ride with us. We are 45 strong. Hopefully, we'll be 100 by the end of the year. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be here tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.